White hot sauce. It's a small batch, handmade hot sauce, made specially for you. So if you like hot sauce, you'll love Great White hot sauce. It's the hot sauce that bites back. Find it at www.trygreatwhite.com.
Well, Jack's not here again this week, so the Ed McChin... Did I just say Ed McChin? I'm not going to edit this. The Ed McMahon chair gets filled by Tom Spallone again. And that's okay. He's a good dude. But he's not alone this week. Yeah, a couple of his friends are coming on. They host their own podcast, Music Relish. So we're going to talk about prog rock, album covers, a little bit of everything. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The KOFB studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean with his co-host Jack Calabrese. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful introduction as usual. Welcome to the podcast. You know the name, so I'm not going to say it. We're streaming live right now over YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And for you YouTube watchers, if you're just finding this video, if you like what you hear, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell. Hit the alert, the alert bell. Hit the bell symbol. You know what it is. So Jack's not here again. Yep. Jack's not here again. This is becoming a constant, but I love Jack. It's always his chair. So now that Jack's not here again, did I say again? Let's bring on his filler, his replacement, his Ed McMahon chair filler, my buddy Tom Spallone.
Hey, Scotty boy, what's going on?
What's up, Tommy? How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right,
Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So already Scott, the IT guy, it said he wants to know what Jack is, right? I think he knows that Jack's been a malingerer on the podcast the last couple of weeks. Hey, Tom, you already have someone just commented in. You already have a fan, Tom. So, yeah, buddy. So we're going to do the show, but it's a little different tonight. A little different. Yeah. So I've had guests on in the past, and Tom is he's the Doc Severinsen of the show, sitting in for Jack. And Tom's actually brought a couple of friends along.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Tom they actually watched the show on YouTube. I didn't know the whole connection between these guys and Tom and Perry Dedovich.
Yeah, they actually watch your show, and they told me about it, and I started listening to your podcast and tuning in on YouTube whenever I could.
Yeah,
and you know,
these guys would comment in, and I'd be like, you know what, these guys know their shit. Like
that they do.
Yeah, I was always like, and it always kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, damn, that's like, they bring up some good points, some obscurity, and I like obscurity. Jack likes the obscurity, and so I was like, yeah. And then kind of this whole thing came together, and they have their own podcast called Music Relish. Music Relish.
Right.
So without further ado, let's bring on Mark Smith.
I'm sorry.
I'm new at this.
Never been called Mike.
Yeah. I'm nervous. I'll pronounce this right. Lou Calicchio.
Yeah, right. You get that right.
Yeah, the hard name. I get the fucking easy name wrong. So what's up, Mark? It's good to finally see you.
Yeah, how you doing, Scott? Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. It's you guys have always been following the podcast on YouTube, so somehow this all came about. So, tell me about the Music Relish podcast. Either you or Lou, either one.
I defer to Lou because I'm the new guy on the show.
Okay.
Yes, Mark is the new guy. This is the brainchild of Mr. Perry Dedovich. You know, we have these in-depth phone conversations about music and all kinds, like the esoterica and just things like that. And, you know, like a lot of people, Perry said, you know, it sounds like a podcast. Not unlike that Family Guy episode. So we just said, yeah, let's try to do this, you know, and we decided to go the most low-tech way we could possibly do it.
You did.
Like we were talking the other night, we basically have 3 soup cans and 700 miles of string between us.
And like I said, one of those strings is about to break.
It broke.
It broke.
But yeah, so you know, we started out, you know, humbly, I would say, and so in between us, you know, Mark, we decided to talk about prog rock one time, and we know Mark is the big prog rock head. So it worked so well, we said let's make it a trio because you know we give a lot of balance to what we're doing. We each bring a different perspective and things like that. So it's been fun, and Mark is also he's a terrific guy, as we know, and so is Perry. And we miss you, Perry. Perry's at a comedy club tonight. I hope he's laughing.
Ah, okay.
I hope he's being picked on by the comedian.
Well, if he would have been picked on here if he showed up, but you know.
Now, when I first started YouTubing, yeah, you were making fun of me because my comments were coming up 20 minutes late.
Yeah, dude, that's right. That's right. I was like,
I didn't.
fucking, like the joke is gone. The joke was gone. Like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, say the joke was like, yeah, the punchline was Michael Jackson or something. And I was like 3 minutes later, fucking Lou's comment comes in. It's like what? Oh, he's talking about the old joke. Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought it was your sense of humor, Lou.
No. What I did know, and this is kind of simple, and this is how fluid I am, you have to put your finger on that thing and move the bar over to the right. So once I got the hang of that, I'm in. But thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Now, for the people listening, we had audio difficulties with Mark's mic, so he's going through his laptop, and everybody knows I'm a fucking audio freak. But for these guys, I make an exception. I make the exception.
And that's a new mic Mark has too.
I had to unplug it.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now because you're still crackling a little bit, so it might not even be the mic. Anyways,
Okay.
We're gonna push on. So we had a little kind of pre-show get together last night to kind of introduce each other and talk to each other, see where we're coming from. And we came up with a couple topics. I think they're pretty interesting topics. And we're going to start off light before we get into the prog rock, which, you know, can be a little deep dive for Mark. And we're going to give him the, you know, we talked about album covers. So my question is to you, we'll start with Lou. What do you think is one of the best album covers?
There's a lot. One that was stuck in my mind because I never heard the music. I think my sister might have had the record, and it was The Mothers of Invention, Weasels Rip My Flesh, Riz. That was messed up stuff.
Zappa had some pretty interesting album covers.
And so apparently it was, I think it was the idea came from the melding of two different things. It was like some type of weird Life album, Life magazine cover, and a Schick razor commercial. But I think the album cover, it was like a men's outdoor adventure magazine, and there's this, you know, outdoor guy going, "There's weasels ripping my flesh," and then they took that and then they used the Schick, you know, electric razor thing, which would just basically mold the guy's face.
Yeah.
So I think one of the other album cover the ideas for that was it was like a baby caught in like metal jaws, and even Zappa thought that was too much. So it had to be a lot. It had to be pretty out there for Zappa to put the nicks on that. But I just thought that, you know, I don't know who did the album cover was done by a guy by the name of Neon Park. His real name was Martin Muller, but he did all the Little Feat albums except for almost every Little Feat album. But that's all I know about. But I just thought that was, as a young music listener, that was something that caught my eye visually. The music is a whole other story. I mean, I'm not the biggest Zappa fan, but I do find it interesting.
I'm not either. I was going to say that. I was never.
No, it's
I
like one
didn't
big
get
inside joke that I don't get.
Yeah.
You know, I like Dancing Fool.
Yeah, and that's it. And even that's a fucking campy song.
Oh, sure. It's shtick in a way. You know?
Yeah, it's shtick. And there's actually some shtick songs out there that aren't bad, but that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's his best song to me and you, then that's like Todd Rundgren, Bang Your Drum.
Right. He can dance to it, though.
Yeah.
There's a radio station in Asheville, WNCW has. When I first moved there, like, do you listen to Fridays with Frank? I'm like, Sinatra, yeah, come on. It's Fridays with Frank Zappa. So I don't know if it's like 2 hours and stuff, but that's it. To me, it's a hard listen, you know.
Yeah, that's.
I'm with you, Scott, on that.
I'd rather listen to fucking Dr. Demento.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
All right, Mark, give me an album cover.
Let me just say, I get Frank Zappa, and I think Chic Your Booty has to be one of the angriest, awesome albums of all time. If you have never listened to it, listen to it. That's a great album. It makes you cringe. Anyway, I'm going to steal this one from Tom, I think, but Brain Cell Surgery, favorite album cover.
That was one of mine.
When you're a kid, I mean, I'm sure, Scott, you went to this when you first started playing albums. You'd lay down and you'd look at the album. And so you unfolded it. It had the stencil cut. And later on, I learned that the cover was designed by H.R. Geiger, who did Alien, came up with the alien creature. That's one sick artist. I have his book.
Did he invent the Geiger counter?
No, that was HR. But then the insert, there was like an insert with the 3 members. You'd open it up and you would it was great. And when you're a kid, and the reason I got into prog, just to say real quick, is I'm a science fiction nerd too, Star Wars and all that. The lyrics on Brain Cell Surgery are very science fiction oriented. They had the lyric sheet. Everything about that album was quality, classy.
Yeah. So I have to correct you a little bit as Tom shows it to the live stream. I have to correct you a little bit. I wasn't laying on my bed listening to the music. I was in a beanbag chair.
Oh, you were cool. You were the coolest.
We had the orange, fucking 70s orange, like, and it wasn't like a felt one. It was like that fucking vinyl.
Yeah.
It sticks to you. Like you get up and it like sticks to your skin. Yeah. That was in the beanbag. But we all studied those out. That's how we learned our shit.
Yeah. Hey, here's a little thing about that album. The original title, Tom, isn't it, was Whip Some Skull on Me, which is slang for a BJ.
Yeah.
And if you look at the picture of the album, you've got the skull, and underneath is like a piece of metal. That was originally a phallic symbol there, if you see the original version of it. And Whip Some Skull on Me.
Kind of air. Yeah, if you look at it, it's kind of airbrushed out a little bit, kind of frosty type of airbrush where, you know, the skull is here, you know, and the dick.
Are there any albums that made it out like that?
I don't think
any
so.
get printed?
That would have been a nice collector's item, right?
It didn't, like the David Bowie, like Diamond Dogs. Some of those got out, you know.
Yeah.
Was it a gatefold?
Yeah.
The gatefold, yeah.
Because we all know what that was good for, right?
Oh, yeah. Clean your weed.
Separating
Exactly.
seed,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fucking kids today just don't get it.
They don't, you know, these kids today.
They miss out on all the good stuff. Now they go to a store. They fucking go to a store and they buy weed. It's already fucking cleaned for them. Fuck this generation.
They don't know how to work.
you
It's all
separate
pills
it?
now.
Yeah.
How do you
They just
separate
walk in and
seeds on
say,
an
"Can I
MP3?"
have that?" What's that, Tom?
I said, how do you separate seeds on an MP3? You know, you need something.
So you're saying they're
CD
disadvantaged.
case. A jewel
you know.
case.
Right. Anything. Not virtual. Anyway.
All right, Tom, give me an album cover.
Oh, I got one. I got a
Yeah, we can go around. It's always good.
It's a personal favorite of mine, even though the music of this album, I was actually listening to it today. Not my favorite, but the album cover. Supertramp, Crisis, What Crisis? I think 1977, maybe 76, something like that. It's a picture a black grayscale of, I don't know, oil refineries and just run down a town, like a Northern Ireland rundown town.
Industrial wasteland.
Yeah, industrial wasteland. Thank you. And then in the foreground, in color, mostly yellow, is a guy sitting in a beach chair on a little carpet with an umbrella. He's got he's got a little drink. Yeah, he's got a little drink by his
yeah.
You know,
amongst all the nuclear,
crisis, no crisis, what crisis? And I always like that because I kind of like I try to fancy myself in this world of like whatever's going on out there. It's like give me my little beach chair and the umbrella and whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sitting there in the.
Doesn't always work that way.
It's like a nuclear holocaust.
Right.
But he's all right. So
I always love that one.
I'm gonna go with this is a classic album cover. It's a there were some album covers that came out that they were kind of like gimmick album covers. Like the classic one is Big Bamboo, right? Cheech and Chong. Came with the giant rolling paper in it, right? But this one, Alice Cooper's School's Out. The fact that it's an actual desk, the picture of a desk, and everybody's a wooden desk, and there's initials carved in it, and you open it, and it looks like the inside of those old desks that all the one piece desks. But there was an insert that nobody can find. I'm a big insert guy. When I go to find an album, I want an original pressing. I try to get as original as possible. I look for inserts. This had the insert was a pair of panties. Came with that album, but they were like plastic, like very flimsy plastic, and I'm sure there's not even one, unless someone's got a sealed, album.
Yeah.
I don't think those made it.
It's not a breathable material either.
No, and I'm sure there's a couple guys that ate them too. Got a little drunk.
Scratch and sniff plastic panties.
Yeah. So that didn't work. So yeah, Alice Cooper's School's Out. Great album cover. A lot of detail in it. So give me another one.
To interrupt, Lou, but something like that, like the gimmicky type things that you were talking about. For me, the one that stands out is the Rolling Stones, right? That was the Sticky Fingers. With the zipper. Yeah, had a literal zipper on it. That was pretty cool.
So that actually, I had that on my list. That album cover, caught that. So when they packaged them, they put them all in a box, and they would ship them out. And in shipping, they kind of shift around, but the zipper was kind of 3-dimensional, so it would dent the back of the album in front of it. So they said a lot of those album covers, not that it matters. I have literally 8 copies of that. That were because I collect people's collections. None of them are in good shape. They got played so much. That's the beauty of that album. The album itself is fucking unbelievable. But
I'll tell you, Scott, remember the Foghat Live album where it was a stencil cut out live with the pictures?
Yeah.
I had my sticky fingers next to that, and I pulled it out, and I was like 14 years old. The zipper fucking ripped the whole live stencil. I was like,
yeah. All right, Lou, give me another album cover, buddy.
This might be a couple of them. It was done by a particular artist. The guy that did David Robinson of the Cars designed their album covers, but the artist, Alberto Vargas, he was a pinup artist. So he did those, kind of like those, what's it called? What was the big pinup model? Everyone, Betty Page.
Betty Page, yeah.
So he did those album called Candy-O. It's the girl. She was the model in Candy-O. I think she was in a TV show like that Lucy show. She played a little kid, but it's basically buxom girls spread on the hoods of cars and kind of saucy. I don't know if that would fly today.
So a couple of friends of mine actually worked with her.
Oh, really? Wow.
Like they knew her. Yeah, she's from Boston.
Okay.
And they said she's hotter than the album cover. Back in the day. So a real girl.
Yeah. But I thought it was it was a concept, David Robinson, the drummer, he actually was a graphic designer. But I guess whether commissioned Vargas to do the covers or not, I'm not sure. But he did though, several, and they're pretty cool. They were pretty interesting. I've been hearing a lot of their music lately. What's that?
My favorite Cars album.
Candy-O?
Oh yeah,
It's a good one. Yeah.
by far.
Me too.
Yeah.
What is the one that came after that?
Shake It Up.
Uh,
Shake It Up.
And this got
Shake It
Touch
Up,
and Go
yeah.
on it.
No, Panorama came next.
Panorama.
Sorry. Panorama, yeah.
All right. Well, I heard Touch and Go last week. I'm like, that's a country song. It's kind of
It
got
is.
a country lilt to it.
I never really thought of it like that.
But I know, I touched your star.
Yeah.
It's kind of countryish.
I'll have to listen to that again.
Elliot, he's some great
Thanks
guitar
for
player.
fucking ruining it for me, Lou.
So, oh, you're not a country music fan.
No.
Come down my way.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Well, I was going to say Candy O, but fuck that. let me just say something about. Candy O came out in '79. That was a great year for albums because Desolation Angels, Bad Company came out.
Yeah.
I'm 10 years old. I'm starting to learn things. That fucking album cover just was magical.
Yeah.
And I just bought the reissue, and the reissue, when you open it up, they got the real pictures that they modeled the painting after. So that's who you were talking about. Now I'm going to look at it again. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
But you know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to go prog again, but Yes Songs was their triple live album from '73, I think. Roger Dean did all their album covers. So every one of their album covers was just a landscape painting.
Yeah.
He actually sued the makers of Avatar because if you watch Avatar, the movie, there's a lot of stuff very similar to his stuff. But that another one, I'd be sitting there, not in my beanbag. It wasn't that cool, but I'd be laying there.
Just means I'm older than you.
You had shag carpeting, though, right?
No, but
lava lamp.
my sisters had a beanbag, but if I used it, they beat the shit out of me. So, But, you listen to these 12-minute songs, and you're looking at the album, and magical, just really magical.
Yeah. All right, you're up, Tom.
All right. Well, just to piggyback a little bit before about the Cars, I recently learned something with Rick Ocasek's death. You end up Googling things, and when the first, because I remember when the first Cars album came out, and it blew up. It was big when I was in high school. It was huge, and but I come to learn and then he died. I don't know, the whole time frame for me was kind of honky, but he was 35 years old when that first album came out, and I mean for a music career, right, for a rock star, 35 years old, and then just you figured it was so big. And I mean, they did some things thereafter, but it was like, well, what happened to them? Well, he got old. You know what I mean? You kind of age out of the whole thing. And then
But they had a sound though. They had that sound.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of eternal. But I'll tell you what, fucking boring in concert.
I've heard
Just
that.
fucking boring.
Stare at your feet. Yeah,
They just stand there. Yeah.
Made the Eagles look like the Who.
It wasn't quite like over in the UK, the Manchester era when they had the gays. They called it gaze rock, where these guys would just look down at their feet.
Yeah.
They wouldn't look at the crowd. And they'd play like you said, Mark, like 12-minute songs, just jams, but they would never look at the crowd. They're just gazing at their feet.
Can I take a side ramp here? I worked with one of England's most famous shoegaze musicians. He left music to become a porter at the natural food store I worked at. The band was called Slow Dive. They're pretty well known in England. They're considered rock stars, but he went to go into a band called Monster Movie. But when I worked there, someone goes, "That's Christian Seville from Slow Dive." I said, "He's cleaning toilets, But he went back to music. He just got tired of it, wanted to come to America. But he was one of those original shoegaze where what they did work though. I mean, the music lent itself to that kind of inactivity, I guess, or that But like I said,
it's great sound. I love that sound.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But the Cars, I've never seen them with Midnight Special, and they just stood there.
They just
a little bit.
just playing.
Saw them at the Boston Garden. They played 2 nights at the Boston Garden, probably around 81. And, they're a hometown band. And like the first night they played Let the Good Times Roll, and then they didn't play it the second night. And, and as you all know, we go to concerts to see certain songs, or we want to see certain songs along with the band itself. But overall, if I was going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, the sound was okay because it was the Boston Gardens, the old Boston Gardens. It was fucking an acoustic nightmare in there. But we didn't care. We're drunk, fucking stoned, whatever one of my buddies is doing, or my other friends, other illicit drugs. Not me. But
no.
No. But yeah, just to watch him, it's like, okay, I could fucking stare at the album cover and do this. You know, it's like, hey, I saw them. Check the box and you move on.
Yeah.
You move on.
That's the thing about
All
live
right,
music.
so
Sometimes you're disappointed. You know, you go, it's not a show.
Yeah.
You're watching them rehearse or just do what they do. You know, the band were like that too. Apparently, the band didn't talk to the audience much. They just played. And good night, hello, and good night, goodbye.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Tommy.
I've got one, and actually, Dave Phillips on Facebook, he hit the nail right on the head. The Who's Next? And I actually just researched this. I did the story behind this, and you know, I'm probably the only one who doesn't know this, but the story.
And he's the co-host of a music podcast.
Hey, I am no Jack Calabrese.
Ed McMimic doesn't know it.
Oh.
All right. You want to start, Mister?
Yes.
Mister
Ed
drinking
McMimic.
your white wine there. All right.
Hey, come
Let's
on,
start.
Tom. Let's get to the old days. Come
That's
on,
a
Tom.
good
Bring
one.
it on.
Okay.
Bring it on.
All right.
That's a good one.
So the Who, right? They had this photographer, and they had to go shoot the album cover. So they just got in the car and they started driving, and they came across these monolithic structures wherever they were. And someone suggested, hey, that looked like a good backdrop for an album cover. So they get out of the cars, and they're up there, standing there, and then Pete Townsend had to take a leak. So he whips it out and starts pissing on the thing. The other guy said, all right, that's a good idea. They tried, and they were unable to. The other three guys tried to piss on the thing, and they couldn't.
It's stage fright.
So, yeah, sure. It's like standing at a stadium, and everyone's behind you. Let's go, right? But so what they did was they took some water and they squirted it on the statue or whatever, the monolithic thing. Pete Townsend's piss is real. The other three is squirted water, and then they took the picture, and there's your album cover.
The fact that they came across this fucking thing just sticking out of the ground, it's like, where were you?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Where were you driving to? I've never seen anything close to that. This fucking just thing sticking out of the ground.
Right.
Today it would be
they figured
the internet as a UFO, and you know.
Yeah, they thought they figured it seemed like a 2001 A Space Odyssey type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's do that, and so that's where it reminded them of that, and so they did it, and that's where the whole urine thing came up. So that was pretty cool.
So I'm going to jump on what Dave Phillips said. Dave, by the way, I call Dave Phillips the king of the 45s. He knows his music stuff too. He's a good music guy, but he evidently has a fucking giant collection of 45s, which I love. I think that's great. If he doesn't, then I'm making it up. I don't know. I just like calling him the king of 45s.
You got to love those singles.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's a music guy. He knows his stuff. I have a number of album covers, you know, on my list. And I'm just going to be very general with this one. Any Herb Alpert fucking album cover, especially the whipped cream one, like he said.
Yeah.
Any Herb Alpert cover is fucking great. I have a collection of them. I actually listen to Herb Alpert.
He just released a new album. He just released a new album like a couple months ago.
Is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Right.
Oh, Carly Simon is.
But Carly Simon.
I want her.
Fucking Dolly Parton.
Carly Simon. I voted her out, actually.
Yeah. Can we do that? They should open that up.
America's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Carly Simon.
I was thinking that the other day.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
It's wrong, man.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other day. But they're doing this inclusive shit, and they're forcing it. They're force feeding it. And like Pat Benatar does not belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before a number of bands.
Oh,
okay.
You know? And I still think that fucking Green Day doesn't belong in there, period.
My son, that's funny. My son, we're driving. We just got home like right before the podcast, and the Tom Your Laugh comes on. And my son Louis goes, I don't like Green Day.
Yeah, I like your son already.
Yeah, he goes,
I like him already.
The song makes me sad. He goes, I don't want to feel sad. I don't like this band.
They're just the fucking 90s version of the Ramones. That's all they were.
Yeah.
Can we tell Dave Phillips that Jay Giles doesn't belong in the rock and roll?
Oh, he is. Oh, don't. He'll fucking.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm not a fan.
Dave, if you know the phone number, Dave, you know the number. I have the phone on. If you want to say something to Lou about Jay Giles and him not thinking they see, I've never said that, Lou. I don't say those things.
I know they're hometown boys.
I try to keep the fans watching.
I'll retract.
No, hey, Dave's a big fan. He loves fucking Jay Giles. But should
don't
Jay
tell
Giles
Dave.
be in there before Pat Benatar?
They wrote their own material, yeah. I mean, yeah, they had an impact. They sold records, they toured, they're well known. I mean, Centerfold was huge. I mean, if you want to go commercial, but they wrote the material like Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. They didn't really write many of those hits, if anything. I mean, I think their other guitar player wrote some stuff that they didn't. But I agree. I mean, I think they were a good band. I really like that drummer, and he's a great guitar player. But I kind of agree. Yeah.
Must Have Got Lost is a great single because it's got the first half of the song and it goes into this really great jam. That's one of my favorite songs of theirs. Yeah, they're great. They should be in. And don't tell Dave that Lou's from New Jersey because that'll really get nasty. All right. So.
Oh, really?
And don't forget the song Whamma Jamma with Magic Dick on the mic on the harmonica.
Yeah.
I mean, that was in the 70s. You could have a fucking harmonica player.
Yeah.
That was it.
With the name of Magic Dick, of course.
Yeah, Magic Dick. Exactly. Today,
that's the second time Dick has come up in this podcast. I just want to bring that up. 2 dicks during the podcast. We got to go for 3.
All right, let's do one more round. You're up, Lou.
Okay, that is a bunch. I'm going to go with the Beatles' Revolver because it was done by Klaus Voormann. Klaus Voormann was their buddy from Liverpool. He was a friend of Astrid Kircher, that's where they got the Beatle cut, the whole style. And he's gone on to have he had a great career and still has a great career, Klaus Voormann. There's a documentary about him. He played a lot of the solo stuff with Lennon, but...
What's his name again?
Klaus Voormann. They were the German existentialists. But the beginning of Carly Simon's You're So Vain, that beginning, that's him on bass. He was just farting around doing some thing, and I saw the video of it. I said, that's pretty friggin' cool, you know? Yeah. But that's a great album cover. Their portraits are on it.
It's very interesting.
It's almost Peter Max psychedelic type of thing, but it's a great album cover. And he's a talented guy. I mean, a great bass player. He's playing, I think it's him on Mind Games, but a lot of the Lennon solo stuff. Before Double Fantasy was Klaus Voormann. Cool guy.
Yeah. All right, I have to stop the podcast for a second. And we all have to say happy birthday to Dave Phillips. Happy birthday, Dave. I don't think we want to sing it.
Magic. What does Magic Dick on the licking stick mean?
Yeah, See, Lou, you insulted Dave on his birthday.
I know. It's his quote. What's this? Is the licking stick a harmonica or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah. Saying Jay Giles shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. How dare you? How dare you?
I'll do this now. Just one opinion. Go. How about we trade them for Carly Simon?
That's a good trade. I think it's a good trade. All right, Mark, what do you got, buddy?
Okay. Just a quick aside with those slang terms. If you ever read the lyric sheet to Aqualung, there's that line where it says he bends to pick a dog end. On the lyric sheet, they have an asterisk, and it says dog end is a cigarette butt. I always found that funny. But they had to tell the American office, Aqualung's really picking a dog end.
But Mark, so the dog end of a fag.
Yeah, that's what they call it in England.
Yeah, you're smoking a cigarette.
Cigarette butt.
There you go. Yeah. All right, so
I'm going to start talking that way.
Want to go for it, Tom? Call me after the show. Slow Hand, Eric Clapton, for one reason. It has a great shot of a Fender Strat on the cover, and that was my first favorite guitar, still is. I'm a Strat guy. But when you opened it up, I love the rock albums that had like a collage of photos.
Yeah.
Van Halen, Diver Down had that. I always loved that in their sleeve because you get to see all these crazy pictures of the band. And there's a bunch like that. But you could stare at that inner sleeve, just all the different pictures. And let's face it, all those photos, Clapton was bombed. He was just drinking his ass off at that period. So good album, too. Really liked it. But,
yeah.
All right. What chord is he playing on the album cover?
Oh, I'm thinking of G because when you play
is a
G,
chord.
Look at that.
Yeah, nice. Mark.
because
Look at that.
Yeah.
Enough of that.
Lou, I'm playing a G.
Mark, I can't hear it. Let me turn it up for you. Okay?
There you go. For the viewing audience, he just gave Mark the finger.
It's a Jersey
Or
thing.
for the listening
Jersey-
audience, I
Jersey
should say.
bird.
All right, Slowhand, it's a pretty basic album cover, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing but the fact that it does have the Fender Strat in it. And it's his, I mean, look at guitar players, his hands make them, you know? So it's it's simple, but it's a classic album cover, no doubt.
And that was a
Is
simple.
that his black strat? Black Keys Black Strat?
Hey, I believe it is, but
Okay.
not gonna. But that was his simple period too. He was doing kind of a almost country thing. He had a very clean tone, and I was learning to play guitar, so I was playing along with those songs, and it really kind of developed my style before I totally went hard rock.
Yeah.
But great album, great period of Clapton.
So for the record, for the listeners and the viewers, Tom plays guitar. Mark plays guitar. Lou plays the drums. And I don't fucking play anything. I guess I'm the lead singer.
There you go. I play guitar also. I'm a semi.
Oh yeah, you play the guitar too. Also, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
dulcimer. I have a dulcimer I play.
And Jack plays the guitar. I'm like, I'm just I guess I don't know. I'm just a vessel for you musicians. I guess.
Can you sing?
Just fucking listen. If Shane McGowan can sing, I can sing.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of those things, right? Like, not the greatest voice, but it's a great voice.
Yeah.
Like Neil Young, fucking
It's
take
delivery.
all the music away from a Neil Young song.
Yeah.
And listen to him sing. You're like, what? How the fuck? But it works.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Now, Bruce he's sung better in later years. He's not yelling his head off. I think they lower the keys. But his
Yeah, they
last,
can't.
it's good. It was a good thing because his live stuff, like the 1980, I didn't like it. I'm a Bruce fan,
Yeah.
Not everything he's done, but that's not. He's just screaming like out of tune, out of rhythm. But the latter stuff, the Western Stars record, I think he's actually singing like a singer.
Yeah.
That's a great album. Yeah.
It is. I think so too.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell, and Jack and I have discussed this. Chris Cornell, guy had like a 4-octave voice. And I don't know if you guys heard me say it. That is the greatest singer of a generation.
Yes.
In his prime, there was nobody, and he never really got that due.
Right.
He just got stuck in that fucking grunge thing.
Yeah.
Always mixed in with Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, but his fucking voice, Eddie Vedder is a mumbler. He's like a modern day fucking Bob Dylan, just mumbling.
Mark, what do you think about that?
He'll take that as a compliment, I'm sure. But try to fucking figure. Can anybody figure out the lyrics to Yellow Ledbetter? Exactly.
Here's that one song where he can't find a rubber band.
Yeah.
Can't find a rubber band.
Can't find a rubber band.
Sure, man.
But Chris Cornell, even in his older years, he just kind of had a 3-octave voice.
Yeah.
It's still better than fucking anybody around.
And he took care of his voice, and I think if he was still alive into his 50s, he probably would have still been belting it out. He's like Bruce. He still has a strong voice. He would. Yeah. It's gone too soon, man. That was a big loss.
Oh man. I mean, listen to Black Hole Sun and just the background vocals.
I was gonna say, that is a classic rock song.
Oh
yeah,
man,
amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's timeless.
Absolutely. So who did I leave off with? Who's
me?
My turn. My turn.
Wait, no,
did you bring one up, Mark?
Yeah, slow hand.
Yeah, slow hand.
Oh, slow hand. That's right. Okay, you're up, Tom.
Well, I don't really have a story behind this one, but I'm just mentioning this band because this band is embarrassingly left out of discussion on both of your guys' podcasts. So I gotta bring it up. Kansas, Point of No Return. It's a personal favorite. Like I said, I don't have a story for it, but it's just a great depiction of a sailing ship going off the edge of the earth. And what really makes it interesting to me is it's not the point of no return, N-O, it's the point of knowledge, and K-N-O-W. And you can make that for what it's worth. You know what I mean? But I just thought, again, another high school thing that came out. Hey, listen, Left Overture right before that. fucking great. That
That's
was also a great, you know.
Every song
But
on that
whatever.
album
So I had to
was
pick
great,
one.
yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that was
Dust
it
in the
for me.
Wind was my sophomore. I had insomnia my sophomore year in high school. I didn't sleep, so I would hear Dust in the Wind at 3:00 in the morning all the time, and it was great. And I told some younger guys at work, they're a lot younger than I am. I said, "Yeah, that's a really great song." So some smart ass YouTubes me the video from was it Old School? When the Will Ferrell movie? We're at the funeral, they're singing "Dust in the Wind." I'm like, "You guys suck." You know, it's still a beautiful song.
Well,
and a great vocal.
Wouldn't that be considered? And he died recently, I believe, within the last year, maybe.
It was one of the guitar players.
The violinist.
The violinist.
Robbie
yeah.
Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Robbie
So
Reinhardt.
would that be considered maybe the greatest violin solo in rock history? Right.
name another
it's a
one.
classic.
You know?
Now,
Other
Bob Dylan, Hurricane has a great.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
Great
I think
album.
if you put Hurricane next to Dust in the Wind, I think 9 out of 10 times people are going to take Dust in the Wind.
I think so.
Just that little violin solo.
What about,
It made his career. It made him
Yeah.
like, famous just for
Yeah.
doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he
Well, you
passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, he put out an album post-mortem. I got it. It's pretty good, but it's really interesting. He was working on stuff and then he dies, and so they figured, all right, well, we got the stuff. Might as well put it out, you know.
All right, let's wrap up the album cover portion of the podcast. So I have, I got some choices. I'm just I'll name the ones I'm not gonna like. Supertramp, Breakfast in America, great fucking album cover, right?
Yeah.
The Tubes, first album.
Yeah.
With the girl's hand tearing the album, and you see the album in it. So it's kind of, but the girl on the back in the fucking tires wrapped in there. I love. You want to talk about staring at an album cover, Mark? Go check out the Tubes' first album, and it is by far the greatest side 2 in the history of music.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
that fucking side 2, I could listen to it on a loop.
Yeah,
but it's a great album cover. We said Sticky Fingers, Paul's Boutique,
yes,
Beastie Boys,
yes,
classic, that corner store,
Creamed Israeli Gears.
That's on my list too. That's a great fucking album cover.
Was that Peter Max?
It looks like Peter Max.
It does, yeah.
It's got to be.
I think so.
You got Judas Priest, British Steel.
yeah.
But I'm going to go with this album cover. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. You probably have. Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. It's the black girl buried up to her neck in dirt. She's got the afro, she got the natural, and she's just screaming at the camera.
I think I remember. Yeah.
Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. And Maggot Brain, the song I mentioned in Greatest Guitar Solos. So if you haven't heard Maggot Brain by Funkadelic, and you would never think that this type of song would be on a Funkadelic album. I forget the guitar player's name offhand. But George Clinton just told him, listen, go in the studio and think of the worst fucking possible thing you can think of and just stop playing. Yeah. And he thought about his mother dying. And it is a fucking gripping, riveting guitar solo. Starts off very slow, but this guy died way too soon also. So I go with Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. Great album as a whole, too.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to listen to it after the show.
Yeah. That's the song itself, Maggot Brain, is a great fucking song.
Another good topic would be the worst album covers.
Okay.
Like
I got
the Orleans one when they're all half naked.
I got the fucking stupidest fucking album cover ever from one of the greatest bands ever. Okay, you have to agree with me on this when I break it down. You have to agree with me on this. Stupidest fucking album cover of all time, and it took me 40 years to realize it. Right, 40 years to really look at this album cover and go, what the fuck was I looking at that I didn't say this is a fucking ridiculous album cover? Black Sabbath, Paranoid. The fucking guy jumping out from behind a tree in the fucking, like a Racer X fucking suit, in a helmet with a visor and a fucking samurai sword.
The cheapest
And
album cover
it's
ever
all
made.
blurry.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Where did the sword come from?
I think I read in the Black Sabbath, one of their books, that the band didn't pick that cover.
Evidently they didn't. Someone owed someone a favor. Somebody owed someone a favor.
One of the executives was a big Speed Racer fan, apparently.
Fucking everybody listening, go look at that album cover when you get a chance. You're gonna go, yeah, he's right. That's a fucking stupid album cover. Like in the woods, at night. It's like, what? The sword in the helmet. I don't get the two. The sword and the helmet. I don't fucking get it. Anyways, give me a bad album cover, Lou.
I'm drawing a blank here.
He brings it up and he couldn't come to the table.
I got one for you. Peter
one.
Frampton, I'm in You. That's pretty bad. They're trying to put him as a little pop idol, and
that ruined him.
He was treated. That's too bad for him because he's very.
That fucking ruined him.
Yeah. That Sgt. Pepper movie.
Yeah, never recovered from that. Yeah. Ruined him. So what do you got, Mark? Give me a bad album cover.
Well, Rod Stewart's first album didn't come out the same way in this country. I think it was called the Rod Stewart album. But in England, it was called An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down. And there's literally a picture of an old man in a raincoat chasing a little girl. Come on, you know. I was like 10, and I'm like, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
Not for Gary Glitter.
No.
Hey.
And then runner-up is Crosby, Stills and Nash, Live It Up, Hot Dogs in Space. What the fuck?
Oh, that's right.
So Korn's first album is a fucking great album.
Yeah.
Like start to finish. And Korn is one of the only groups I've seen. I've seen them, I don't know, 6 times, 7 times. I will see them every time they come to West Palm Beach. I've seen them down in Miami. I saw them first back up Metallica in Albuquerque when this album just came out. And I thought, I saw this fucking guy, Leeds. I didn't really hear about them. And all of a sudden they go into their, the last song of the show and they're backing up Metallica. Jonathan Davis, the lead singer, he's got this fucking, like this glitter blue tracksuit, right? Shiny blue tracksuit. And he comes walking out of the stage with bagpipes to do Chutes and Ladders. And I'm like, okay, I've been to a lot of fucking concerts in my life. I'd never seen anyone take bagpipes out and start fucking playing them. And he proceeds to wail on the bagpipes for the opening of Chutes and Ladders. But their first album, take a look at it. It's pretty fucking ominous. And it reminds me of that. It's a girl in a park on a swing, and she's looking up, and all you see is a shadow of this like guy just lurking over her, like, and she's looking up at him, but you don't see the guy. You just see the shadow. You're like, nothing good is coming to this. No. Nothing good is going to come of this situation.
But that was a great fucking album.
Man. It's always listenable. Always.
Any Manowar album too is pretty.
Manowar had some. Yeah.
It's like Masters. It's been described as this Masters of the Universe or something. But
well, like, actually,
and furry bikini pants. You know,
Ken Kelly did the Manowar album covers. Guy's name was Ken Kelly. He designed album covers for Kiss too, and Rainbow. He just recently died.
Oh,
yeah. But he did all the Manowar and a lot of Kiss album covers, and he did Rainbow. So this guy's made livings.
Rainbow Rising with the hand coming out of the ocean. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he just passed away. So interesting. All right, Tom, give me a shitty album cover.
Well, we mentioned the band earlier, one of the best ones. I gotta hit my own guys. You got Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Brain Cell Surgery was one of the best. Their next studio album, Love Beach.
Oh, that's.
I mean, how do you go from? Yeah.
I'll describe it as very progressive.
Yeah,
it's very progressive.
A little bit too much.
For its time, very progressive. It is
So they went
June.
from-
It is
they went
Pride
from-
Month.
Oh, right,
It's
right.
Pride Month.
So
But
they
that's
went
what the
from-
album cover kind of looks like, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Went from H.R. Geiger, Alien Creation, to
Oh man, that's a good call.
Love Beach, everyone.
That's a good call. Hello,
Here's-
Frisco.
Hello,
progressive.
come in,
What's that?
Tokyo.
It's Lou trying to show us. Just tell it. I can't see it. What is it?
It's
Oh.
hang on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Who
good.
is that?
It is singer from Dexy's Midnight Runners, Kevin Rowland.
Oh, you might as well just put out the Prince album, Dirty Mind, if you're going to show that one.
or
too.
Love Sexy.
Yeah,
Love Sexy's pretty bad.
yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to some prog rock. Now, the drummer from Yes recently passed away. And where would you put Yes in the on the list of best prog rock bands? Where does Yes? Are they in the top 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Top 3?
Yeah.
You think so, Mark? Really?
Yeah.
What? Give me a top 3, Mark. Give me a top 5.
Okay. And it's all personal, This is all personal.
Oh, absolutely,
Of course.
absolutely, yeah.
Your word is law, I thought.
Well,
Rock law.
if it's prog rock, I'll go along with it.
Okay. Well, for me, number one is always going to be Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But that was the band that got me into music. I listening to Brain Cell Surgery in first grade. I put Yes number 2, and 3 is going to be a band that not everybody knows. They're called, get ready, Tom, Porcupine Tree.
Yeah.
And if you've never heard of them, they're just they came about in England in the 2000s. And Steve Wilson, ding, Tom, I mentioned Steve Wilson.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, there you go.
51 minutes and
it was his
36
band.
seconds.
Yeah. So now see 4. I'm going to say Genesis because I like all Genesis, including pop. I like them all. Just love Phil Collins. 5.
You didn't mention.
Well, it's a tough one. I'm thinking Jethro Tull.
Lou's saying no.
I'm saying no, Mark.
I'm going to go Jethro Tull, and I'm probably missing a big band. So there we
You
go.
are. King
Yeah.
Crimson.
King Crimson. I was gonna say. Speaking of album covers.
That was one of mine. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
The big,
The big face. Yeah. The big face.
Okay, can I?
I don't know if that's the best or the worst. I don't know if that's the best album cover or the worst album cover. I can't make heads or tails of that. I don't know what to think of it.
All right, let me take that
Cartoonish,
back.
but it's
I'm gonna make King Crimson number 5. Can I take it back?
Sure, it's
If you've
your
never
segment,
seen
buddy.
if you've never seen King Crimson live lately, like I saw him about 5 years ago, they've got 3 drummers at the front of the stage, 3 fucking drummers, and then the band is behind them where the drummers would be,
well, it should be.
and the 3 drummers are playing in perfect synchrony through the whole show. I mean, it's all about rhythm.
Is it
great
Bill
show.
Bur- Is Bruford one of them, or
No, he quit. He quit a long time ago. Very unique band. Always was very kind of had that jazz angle to them. They always went where you didn't think they would go. They're like the anti-success band. Red was probably the precursor to many metal bands of the '80s. Red is a great album. Very dissonant.
Very loyal following.
Yes, very.
Very loyal. See, I've never been a King Crimson fan. So one year I decided around Christmas, it's going to kind of shake it up a little bit, and I'm going to buy a train set, right? Put it out there, put a little village in there, for my stepkids, and like, everything's going to be cool. I go to, have you ever fucking bought one of those train sets? This ain't fucking Coleco shit. This shit's expensive. Like, this little fucking train was like $80. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, well, it's a size D and da-da-da. All right. Just fucking give me a train set, right? But the guy's got music on. And somehow we started, of course, I always bring up something about music. And this guy started just absolutely railing on King Crimson and how great they are. And it's the greatest band ever. And like loyal follower. Like,
They're not for everybody, and they have distinct periods. So they had the the classic period with Greg Lake, which is what people think of prog. And then when later on they kind of went in a jazzy direction, and John Wetton joined them, the guy that sang for Asia. And when he was with them, they were very heavy. And then they broke up, and then in the 80s, they were like, I don't want to say pop. They had pop-type songs, but they were a great band. I mean, it was just really good stuff.
The Adrian Belew period.
Yeah.
Adrian Belew, yeah. He was a solo artist for a while too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a band called the Bears. They're from Ohio, but his band, I guess it was his band before he was in King Crimson. The Bears.
He had a minor hit on his own, I think. I forget the name of the song. I actually liked it.
It was when he was playing with Bowie, and he put out an album. Bowie sang on one of his solo songs too.
Yeah.
It was a good song. Yeah, and he also played with Frank Zappa. So.
Oh well, that's why I wouldn't know that. I don't think I even own a Frank Zappa album. I've actually given away Santana albums. I won't. Even though I have some, and I just keep them for like some kid that might like vinyl. Like, so this is an interesting story. Speaking of album covers, all right. I want to jump back a little bit. So the lady that sold us the house that I'm in, she lives down the street, and my wife had known her from where she lived previously. They lived in another community here in Boca. Her son and my stepson were friends and the whole 9 yards. But they weren't really like close, but they were friends. And so she sells this house. She lives right down the street here. So somehow in a conversation, she tells me that her son is like one of her sons, her oldest son, he's an artist, but he's a different kind of artist. Now, I guess he's in the spectrum. Okay. His art is words that he turns into pictures. It's the only way I can describe it. Words and numbers. He doesn't draw with lines. Right. So I was thinking, I said, can you copy an album cover for me? And he's like, yeah, I guess. So I hand him the Aladdin Sane album. I said, can you do this in the style that you do it? He's like, I'll try. I don't think much of it after that. Month goes by, month and a half, because I don't expect him to be, working on it night and day. His mother calls and says, he's finished. It's done. She brings it down with him, and it's on white, like stock board, like paper. It's not paper, right? It's a thicker paper, and it's the fucking album cover, and it's the lyrics to every song.
Wow.
On the album. You got to see this thing, and it's kind of raw. It's raw. If you looked at it, you'd go, "Oh, it's a pencil drawing," because he did it in pencil.
Yeah.
But I said, look at it closely. The fucking lyrics in the Thunderbolt, the hair, the eyes, the face, every detail.
Wow.
To the fucking clavicle.
Wow.
It's parts of the lyrics of the song.
Wow.
It's fucking amazing. So I was like, yeah, keep the album, right? I think I threw him like $200. Because, that's a lot of work, and I wasn't going to. He's like, no. I said, no, dude, you fucking earned this. I probably could give you more. but his mother was like, no. I gave him a couple $100, and then I gave him a Santana album.
Which one?
I don't even know. I don't like Santana.
Was it Z-Bop?
Sure. Why
I'm
not?
winning.
Although one of my favorite songs ever is a Santana song with Michelle Branch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he started doing all those crossovers. Now Dave Phillips is a big fucking Matchbox 22 guy. He loves Matchbox 22, Matchbox 20. Is that the Matchbox 20?
It's 20.
It's 20. Yeah. See, again.
Yeah.
Fucking Frank. He might as well be in the Frank Zappa category. I don't pay attention.
Although the song he did with Santana was really good.
Rob Smith, right?
Rob Thomas.
Rob Thomas.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that song. Fucking hate that song. But I like Little Bit of Love, whatever the Michelle Branch. That's a great song.
She's married to the drummer from the Black Keys.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at Lou. See,
Lucky
you
guy.
guys, you guys, you guys got that knowledge. You got that
fucking
obscure
encyclopedia.
shit. I love that.
I'm jealous.
You know what?
They're so full of useless information. It's fantastic.
I love that.
Every Sunday, Tom calls me and says, "Can you ask the guys a question?" And I have to answer them. You know, who's the bass player for Peter Frampton? You know,
well, who is it?
I know the drummer.
Who's the drummer?
John Siomos.
Okay.
all right, Bob Mayo, bass player.
Bob Mayo, that's
Look
right.
at you.
No,
Look, you're
no.
outside
No.
seat.
Wasn't he on the keyboard?
He's the keyboard.
Bob Mayo. Bob
Keyboards.
Mayo on the keyboard.
Okay.
And he died while standing. They were on tour. He died while waiting for a train in Switzerland. He died right on the train platform there.
On
Boom.
tour with Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Now, but he was a working
guys,
musician his whole
this
life.
is- I hit a honey pot with you guys.
How about this one?
Fucking honey pot.
Steve
Who needs
Hashian.
Jack?
Hey,
Steve
Scott, I
Hashian from
tell you,
Boston died on stage. He died with his
Yeah.
He went out behind the kid. That's why I want to go. I want to explore.
What's that, Mark?
I tell you, if you need to know anything about producers, Lou knows producers, and he knows Italo rock like nobody else. I'm telling you, Italo rock.
Is that Italian rock and roll?
Yeah, it's like that,
Yep.
like Dion, the Four Seasons, all that stuff. My dad had a nightclub in the 50s, and him and his partner hired the Four Seasons when they were in the Four Lovers and fired them because they sucked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I smell another show. I
They're making
smell
it-
a reappearance of you guys.
Cool. Like they're making out with girls on the hoods of cars. I'm like, yeah. You think you're Frankie Valli is some big shot or something? That's a Ray Liotta tribute.
Is that what that was?
That's from good. That's a line from Goodfellas when he
Do I
stands up.
amuse you? Am I
Stands up
funny
Lorraine
to you?
Bracco.
You got the wah-wah.
What was that?
You got the wah-wah. Ray Liotta imitation. You should have warned us.
This
I thought it was
Ray
you
Liotta.
being you.
This is Ray Liotta. I got things organized with these guys, Karen.
Okay. Your redemption. The redemption song. There you go. So that's your top 5 prog rock bands, right?
Yeah.
And you said your number 1 was
Emerson,
Lake and
Palmer.
Palmer.
Like a palm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of-
Genesis?
What's that?
It was ELP, Genesis?
It was ELP, yes, Genesis,
Porcupine
Porcupine Tree, and King Crimson.
Look at that. My buddy Rob Elston. And I've used that saying I don't know how many times. I always say I'm a virtual cornucopia of useless information. I think he stole that from me. Me and Rob are stationed together in the Philippines. He's a great guy.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rob's a great guy.
Although I did try to beat him up one night in a bar. I was drunk. I bit the head off a snake. He got upset. It's a long story. I probably shouldn't have said that. But
That's great.
This is all for that story's an insane story. But anyways,
What were you drinking?
I'm not. Let's move on. I shouldn't even have said that.
In
See,
the Philippines, man.
I can't
it's
control
just-
myself. So what do you think of? And this is like a mixed review. I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas. I love Christmas music. I never get sick of it. I start listening to it right before Thanksgiving, and people are like, it's not even Christmas. I tell them, shut the fuck up. It's Christmas music. Fucking listen to it. It's happy. You miserable fuck.
If I want to sing
Anybody
about
that doesn't
baby
like
fucking
Christmas
Jesus,
music-
I'm going to sing about baby fucking.
Yeah. Anyone that doesn't like Christmas music, even before Thanksgiving, fuck you. Right? That's what I say. Fuck you. It's
Christmas
happy
music or
You're
Christmas
a
rock?
miserable bastard. So
Christmas rock or just Christmas music, like the carols?
I like it all.
The whole thing.
Fucking
Okay.
from Dean Martin to Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis. I love it all.
That first very special Christmas album was awesome.
Great
It had
album,
DMC
right?
on it.
Yeah.
You two did Baby Please.
The
Merry
Waitresses.
Christmas. Yeah.
That's Christmas rock song?
Yeah.
Father Christmas by the Kings.
Yes.
That's a great song.
Great.
That is like an anti-Christmas song. No one really. It's one of those songs like Every Breath You Take. It's a happy Father Christmas, but no one really listens to the lyrics. I don't know.
No.
Fucking dude gets
hooligans.
mugged. It's fucking mugged.
I still watch the Yule log every year on TV,
Yeah.
on YouTube.
So funniest thing about that is I buy this house in South Florida. Doesn't have one. It has 2 fireplaces. What the fuck were they? I mean, it's great.
Santa Claus.
Hey, around the holidays, the fucking ambiance. You think you're in fucking Vermont.
Scott, I've been here for 4 years. I don't even know if the heat works in this house. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've never put it on. I have no idea.
Yeah, they do. They actually come with heat because there are people down here that are like, it's 40 degrees. It's freezing. But yeah, 2 fireplaces. But I tell you what, them fuckers are going during Thanksgiving.
Are they really?
It really gives you a good feel, buddy. I'll tell you that.
That's cool.
I don't know what they were thinking though. I never had one growing up. Now I got 2.
And that was Boston, right?
And that was Boston.
You didn't have any in Boston,
Yeah,
and you have 2 in South Florida.
And a furnace. And a furnace.
You guys remember the Yule log?
Yeah.
A New York WPAX, for those who didn't have fireplace, you could stare at the TV burning for 24
Every
hours.
city did that. There was always something on local.
In New York, they did it at Gracie Mansion, the governor's mansion, for a while. Then they did it in the studio. I remember that as a kid, I was like, yes, it's happening. Christmas is coming.
There you go.
But I love that time of year too, Scott.
I put the Yule-log on the TV up there, and then got Christmas music going, and it's nice,
Yeah.
And I'm not hot.
Exactly.
And the
I
TV
do
never,
keep
the
that
TV
shit
never
closed
burns.
though
It's
sometimes.
amazing.
All right.
And it keeps going.
We had touched on something last night in like kind of the pre-show meeting. Shitty sounding albums. I think we kind of came up with that kind of. I think Lou, you brought it up. And I just said stop. That's a good talking point. That's a good segment. I'm going to start off. And you might have heard me talk about this album. It's one of my favorite albums. It's one of my favorite live albums. And I never realized how shitty it sounded until somebody else listened to it and said, the fucking album sounds like shit. David live at the Tower in Philadelphia.
Yes.
How they recorded that was like let's just put something together. It was crossing over from glitter to the soul, the blue-eyed soul thing.
Yeah.
It just kind of killed Ziggy Stardust, and he was in that Diamond Dogs. He was in the Diamond Dogs into the.
It was the Thin White Duke then, I think, right?
The Thin White Duke, I think, came after the Blue-Eyed Soul, after Young Americans.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is, if you haven't listened to that album lately, fucking unbelievable album. You just forget how good it is. Other than Fame and Young American. Okay. The album itself is like, from start to finish, just a great album. Well, he does Across the Universe, and that's kind of a shitty version.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a shitty version.
I don't like the Beatles version either. It's one of my least
you're right. You know what, Lou? You're right. Fuck that song.
Fuck that. And Imagine too.
song.
Fuck Imagine. You said Imagine's one of the most overrated songs, didn't you?
Oh, it is.
Let's all hold hands and sing it. Come on, Mark. Hold my hand.
Nah. Fuck you, Lou.
All right, I'm done. My brother used to play Across the Universe. I'm like, play another one. My brother's a guitar player. And do something else. I don't know. It's just,
So, give me a shitty sounding album, Lou.
The Eagles, The Long Run. I think I don't like. I think it sounds like it's the thing I call cocaine ears, coke ears. It sounds like someone just poured a giant bag of blow all over the mixing board and just didn't fuck the drums all up. I don't know. I don't. Mark, you're the engineer, and Tom. Heartache Tonight. Did they really want the drums to sound like that?
No, I believe
Freaks don't want
it
no
was,
freaks. It just doesn't sound good to me.
I think Don Henley admitted it's like when you're doing coke, your ears are really sensitive. So there's a lot of albums from the 70s that have a dull sound because they're all doing coke and they're mixing it. And they sound like shit. I think Who's Next too is like that.
You were saying that too.
Very dull. Yeah.
I heard Hey 19 by Steely Dan recently again. That bass drum. Next time you hear it, guys, what's with that bass drum? It kicks your head off. It's the loudest instrument on the whole track.
Oh, now you're going after Tom. Tom's going to answer to that one.
Uh-oh.
As far as I'm concerned,
What do you think?
when it comes to Steely Dan,
I love them.
There's nothing wrong with any of it.
I think I was talking to my son over dinner about them too. I was mentioning Asia, how I think it's an amazing album. The drummers alone, there's like 5 of the world-class drummers of all time on that record.
Yeah.
But I think that was Gaucho, I think. Yeah. Why is that bass drum so friggin' loud? Why it just boom, boom, boom? Hey, 19. I don't know.
Yeah, the drummers in that band were very important. I saw them at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino down in Hollywood. And they basically put the drummer front and center. He was like in the middle and moved forward. And like probably the second song, they gave him a drum solo. The kid was fucking fantastic.
Wow. A younger guy, but
yeah,
you know, the guys that they had on Asia were Steve Gadd, who was just amazing. Bernard Purdy, the 5th Beatle, Bernard Purdy was on it.
By the way, can Scott?
Yeah,
I was going to ask you. Steely Dan's playing down in somewhere, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. In July.
I won't see him without Walter Becker. I won't.
See, I can't get to see.
I won't see ZZ Top. I won't see ZZ Top without Dusty Hill.
Yeah,
I won't do it. Like I don't. I'm a purist.
All right,
well,
Tommy.
It gets back to when the discussion of when a band stops being the band.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I made the mistake of seeing
Steely Dan's not Steely Dan to you anymore.
Without Walter Becker. Yeah. It's just that's who I want to see because they're such a classic band. And I was glad I got to see them. Although they didn't play Royal Scam, which is that song. That's a fucking. That's my favorite. What's that?
Did they play Bodhisattva?
Bodhisattva.
I don't know. It was a little bit it was a little bit of time back. It was probably like 10 years ago I saw them.
That's my favorite Steely Dan song.
Yeah.
It has the Blue Oyster Cult rock and roll arena rock ending.
Yeah.
It's just, I can hear the audience.
Yeah.
Albert Bouchard.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of seeing like unoriginal bands. I made the mistake. Well, you've heard the story. Alice in Chains, fucking horrible. What they were thinking when they you can't replace Lane Staley, although you got to make money. You got to get out there. But who they replaced him with is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
This dude can't carry a note. He can't carry Lane Staley's fucking glove.
Yeah, but he dresses real nice, and that's
he dresses real nice. Yeah.
Are the Eagles without Glenn Frey?
No, I wouldn't see them without Glenn Frey. I guess his son. He's playing with them.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I wouldn't see that. It's like it's just I'm a purist like that. Again, I don't want to see a half a band or a key player not there. It's just to me it feels like there's a hole.
When Don Felder was kicked out of the Eagles, I was mad, but he wasn't the most integral part.
No.
So I would have seen him without Don Felder, but Glenn Frey gone. Forget it. It's like those songs. He wrote some of their best songs. Him and Don Henley. Either one of them couldn't be out of the band.
And that's the thing. Yeah, right. You can lose Joe Walsh. I think he's.
The new guitar player has replaced every guitar player there. Stuart Smith, I think his name is. The guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a better. I mean, he does Don Felder up one too, but Joe Walsh has almost a diminished role now. He still plays his things, but this new guitar player, who's not an Eagle, but the guy's amazing. He's actually written some of their songs, latter day songs with him as well.
Yeah.
In the long run, is a shitty sounding record.
Long run. There you go. Mike, do you have a shitty sounding record?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a producer named Roy Thomas Baker. So I think that every album that Roy Thomas Baker produces has shitty sounding drums, really shitty. And I hate to say it, but Candy O is one of them. I love Candy O, but those drums are distorted. But I think his worst album would probably be, I don't know if you're a Queen fan, but Queen 2. Yeah, that one. If you just turn it loud, it's like total distortion. And Brian May's guitar is like just razor thin on it. It just sounds like a compressed ball of shit. And I can't blast it. Like, I love these songs.
That's a description.
Compressed ball of shit.
Yikes.
But it's my thing with Roy Thomas Baker. If you listen to Candy O, when I was young and I got Candy O, I had these nice little speakers that my dad bought me in Sears, and I had an 8-track player, and I'm blasting Candy O, and I thought I blew the speakers, because if you turn it up, it sounds like your speakers are overloading. And then I got Panorama, and I go, oh, shit, I blew the speakers again, So I'll say with him, it's a toss-up between Queen 2 or Journey Infinity. That album, I don't know if you remember that, the one with lights. That album, turn it up. It sounds like a compressed bowl of shit. It's
Really?
yeah.
It is again.
You've been quoted, yeah.
Someone quoted you online too.
How about a steaming bowl of compressed shit?
There you go. Take it, Lou.
Yeah. Tom, do you have any albums you think are shitty sounding albums?
We talked about it. I can't come up with one, to be honest with you. There's nothing. I can't say, oh, that was shit. I don't know.
Oh, come on, Tom. All the days we were
don't.
mastering. All the days we were mastering.
Well,
How many times did you hear something and that sounds like shit, and that sounds like something I heard
Well,
on.
yeah, but I can't quote whatever that was though. But Scott and I were talking about it as a former mastering engineer. No matter what anybody has done to this recording, and you get it in your studio that you're familiar, you could always make it better. Always. Bob Ludwig gives you something he's just mastered. You take it in and you start A-Bing it. Bob Ludwig, you can make it sound better. And so what's the answer here? Bob Ludwig is shit? No, he did it in his studio. It sounds great for him there. Now you're supposed to say, well, Mark, how many times did you have clients come into the studio and you're mastering? They want to be side by side while you're mastering, and you can understand that. Oh yeah, I don't know. Could you change that? Could you do this? Okay. Well, it sounds the way it sounds in that studio at that time. And then they make you make a cassette of it. They run out to their car with that cassette and put it in their car and go, nah, I don't like the way that sounds. And then you go back in and you want to change it all over again. You just can't make it sound good or sound the way you want it across the board. Something's got to suffer, I think. But so that's why I just adjust it. Music to me is like a bottle of wine, like a bottle of cheap wine. You don't like it, right? So what do? Take 2-3 more sips. That's fine after that. You know what I mean? You get used to it.
Look, Tom,
you make sangria out of it.
Yeah,
Like sangria.
Tom, that's the shit you drink. I've seen some of the wine you drink. All right, we don't go there.
Well, yeah. Listen.
But you know what?
Don't
though?
offend me now.
It's true. Like some albums, like if they're recorded shitty, that's what I'm talking about. The mastering, you can't master anything sound good. If distortion's in there, you're not getting rid of it. If it's recorded with reverb, Westwood sound, right, Lou? If it's recorded totally compressed, they would come to me and say, it's all compressed. I can't take it off, guys. Sorry, So,
I was mentioning stuff about Perry and I recorded original music in the early 90s where we
can't hear you.
Perry and I recorded some music in the early 90s. It's a shitty microphone. Where the compression knob was about 5 feet long. And he just took this compression knob and But I always thought the Beatles, I don't know if it's a reissue or not, a remix of Got to Get You Into My Life, a pretty shitty sounding Beatle record. The drums sound like crap. Those tom-tom fills, you can't hear them. And I just think it's a bad mix. It's a great song, but I don't think it's a good recording or a good mix from Sir George. But,
hey, Lou, you're in North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
What part? Ashton?
Asheville.
Asheville,
North Carolina.
Is there what's the music scene there?
It's thriving. It's pretty big.
So it's closer to Tennessee.
I'm 2 hours from Knoxville. I'm really close to Tennessee and Georgia. We're like on the far western corner, where you can actually get to Tennessee. I'm pretty close to the Tennessee border here now.
Okay.
And I'm about an hour away from Greenville, South Carolina, and Georgia's not far away either. But it's the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's when I moved here from New Jersey, I'm like, oh, these are mountains. I get it. But actually, it's an old little hippie town that has just become big. It's about the size of I'd say, you guys are not, you would know, but Hackensack, New Jersey is what I call it.
Perfect. That's a perfect analogy. Yeah.
It's about the size. It's called the Paris of the South, but I've been calling it the Hackensack of the South because all I see are Jersey plates now. But originally, the music of the area, the indigenous music, is Appalachian folk music and bluegrass. So there's that scene.
Yeah.
I like bluegrass, but to an extent, it's got, and I'm good for an hour of it here and there, but a steady diet, no, not exactly. The gypsy jazz scene here is kind of thriving. The devotees of Django Reinhardt, things like that. There's some pretty big clubs here. The Orange Peel in Asheville. We actually get some big bands playing. Some new bands. The War on Drugs is playing soon.
Love them.
I like them.
Okay.
I may consider go seeing them. I haven't been to a show in a long time, obviously. So, but some of the places I play at or have played, it's smaller, lower scale, almost due for acoustic. But singer-songwriter Americana is big. some kind of funk type stuff. There's even some like Afro-Caribbean influenced rhythm bands. And they got some little roadhouses along the way. When I lived in Barnardsville, there's a place called Cowboys. Like in Cowboys and spray painted letters on the marquee, a big dirt parking lot that nothing good happened there. I like to go in there and say, I want to see your wine list, please. See who shoots me in the face, that's like a roadhouse. So you do got, in the outskirts, you do have some places like that. But there's a place called the Salvage Station where Wilco played there. So they do get some national acts come through. But
1 hour and 20 minutes. Wilco mention. Nice.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a random Wilcoing there, Tom. It was.
Hey, wait. Hey, Lou.
Yo,
that club, the Orange Peel. You know who played there?
Who?
Steven Wilson.
Did he really? Okay.
Steven Wilson is who?
No, you're right. I saw his name on the marquee.
Who's Steven Wilson?
He was the guy that had Porcupine Tree.
I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Tom just walked up. He has to take a bathroom break.
Tom doesn't know that Music Relish podcast have our own line of swag, so we actually have a Music Relish piss bottle, so you don't have to leave your seat.
There you go. Hey, War on Drugs has a good song, Under the Pressure. That's a great fucking song.
I like their sound. I do think they're good.
I got to hear about Steven Wilson one more time.
He's back.
Have you ever heard of the band Mastodon?
Yes, that's Van Halen, right?
No.
No.
No, they were Mammoth before they were Van Halen.
Mammoth.
Mastodon. They're a heavy metal band from Atlanta. In the last 15 years, they've gotten Rolling Stones reviews them wonderfully. So when I was a department manager at this beer and wine department manager at this natural food store I worked at, I hired a guy into the department. Older guy, he's older than me by about 10 years, and he goes, "Have you heard of Mastodon?" I'm like, "Eh." He goes, "My son's the drummer." So his name's Bron Deller. They're a kick-ass band, I'm not the biggest metalhead, but they are really, really good. But I've seen them at the Orange Peel twice. Their records have great sounds, by the way. But it's so Asheville actually gets bands of a lot of local. There's some national acts are coming through as the town has grown. So the Orange Peel is like a rock club, but there's it's very Americana oriented.
And you play around the area, right?
Yeah. I played the guitar bar. I'm looking to do some other stuff. I just moved closer to a brewery, Pisgah Brewing, that has a big sound stage. They have a lot of these breweries, because it's a brewing town now, have gotten more funding. That these breweries are big. They have these outdoor performance areas. So I'm gonna try to get into there. But I have played at I will call it the Great Asheville Guitar Bar. Julia and Mark Goldthwait are the owners. They're amazing people. They're so accommodating. It's a small place. It's like their living room, but it's a really cool bar. But when I moved here, I got divorced, and I'm like, well, I'll get back to music. And so I asked a friend of mine, where do the old guys play around here? He goes, try the Asheville Guitar Bar. So I got in and, met some people and stuff like that. So, but it's a fun place. But I'd like to look at the kick it out a little bit. Get a little dirtier, a little more rock.
You mentioned something about the cafes.
Yeah, I've mentioned there's a lot of, I call them cafe society gigs. It's more, sophisticated. There's a lot of jazz, a lot of mellower jazz and stuff like that. Where it's more you're playing while people are dining and stuff. So there's a give and take there where you're constantly being asked to turn down, and before you're being asked to turn down as you're setting up. That's
so you're not a big fan, right?
I'm not a jazz player. I can bake it a little bit, but my forte is rock. So that's what I want to.
Well, you should call yourself Rage Against the Cafe.
Rage Against the Cafe.
You'll never get another gig in a cafe.
No, I won't.
I won't take it. I won't take that gig.
I'll send me back to Jersey. But
all right, listen. Cool, we're about it. I'm just gonna kind of wind this down now. So,
well, I got something if I can interject.
Absolutely.
If you mind, it's a point of discussion, perhaps only because I've heard a lot of discussion on this subject, and I have a little bit of news flash. If you guys haven't heard about this, I know that a lot of it's a big discussion when we talk about Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, if they're ever going to get back together again, and if they do, who would sit in behind the drums, right? Well, we can talk about that all night long if you wanted to, but I just saw today that on September 3rd at Wembley Stadium in London, they're doing a Taylor Hawkins tribute. Wow. And at this tribute, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson will be playing.
Oh, cool.
Who's playing drums? Nobody knows. I'm
Bet
just
you it'll
saying
be
that,
Dave Grohl. I'll bet you.
I guess, but it's a
that's a
whole
good
bunch
call.
of it's a whole bunch of it's it's a big concert. And actually, Wolfgang Van Halen's going to be there, which but that's a whole other discussion. That kid's kind of impressing me, that the stuff that I've heard him do. But so a whole bunch of people are going to be at this thing for a Taylor Hawkins tribute. Like I said, and Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson's going to be there. It's going to be one of those Led Zeppelin reunion things. Who's sitting in? Who's going to do it?
Yeah,
So
huge shoes to fill. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's good, but he's no Neil Peart.
No, he's not a
Yeah.
progressive. I think
No.
they should get one of those 4-year-old freaks that you see playing Tom Sawyer on YouTube.
Yeah.
No shit,
Right.
right?
Get some child to do it.
Right.
Oh shit.
That's
Right,
stuff- that stuff's
some
eerie.
Asian girl, right? That
Yeah,
just
yeah.
tear it up.
How do they do?
Yeah.
How do they do? They're not normal. They're like Tiger Woods. The kids had a golf club in his hand when he was like in the womb.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go. But even so, like I've seen those. I'm like, damn, that's right on the money.
But I saw
All
the
right.
bill for this. I saw the bill for this the show that they're putting on for Taylor Hawkins, and one of the people that are performing, Chrissy Hind.
Wow.
I mean, has she been active in the last 30 years?
You know what?
I don't even.
She came
She has something
around.
out of it.
She came around
Yeah.
4 years ago. She was charging like fucking $200 a ticket. It was like, Chrissy. No, I love you, but
That's
no,
not going to happen. No.
no. I mean, she's the Pretenders, right? She doesn't even have to say
Yeah.
the Pretenders anymore.
Yeah.
But all right, this week I did not do my top 10 songs
No,
of the
say
year.
it isn't so.
I know, but we're gonna get into my favorite part: this day in music. Yeah. All right. On this day in 1973, Motown Records released "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye. The track became Gaye's most successful single for Motown and one of his most well-known songs, with the help of the song's sexually explicit content. Who writes this shit? Not me. Let's see. On this day in 1981, Duran Duran released their debut studio album, which reached number 3 on the UK album chart and remained in the UK top 100 for 118 weeks. In the US, the album reached number 10 on Billboard 200 and spent 87 weeks on that chart. Singles from that included the UK top 10 hits Planet Earth and Girls on Film. Planet Earth was actually their first hit,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a hit here. I think Hungry Like the Wolf kind of took off, and then Planet Earth was like kind of discovered afterwards.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. It didn't break them. Let's put it that way. It didn't give them the breakthrough that Hungry Like the Wolf did. But
Yeah.
on this day in 1985, Dire Straits started a 9-week run at number 1 on the U.S. album chart with Mark. Give me the album.
Brothers in Arms.
There you go. I know Lou was ready to hit that buzzer.
Boom.
I saw
almost
you,
said-
buddy. I saw you.
I tensed
I
up. I
almost
tensed
said
up.
money for nothing.
So now you guys got to be ready in case I ask. It might not be Mark again. So, the album is the 7th best-selling album in the UK chart history and won 2 Grammy Awards at the 28th Grammy Awards, and also won Best British Album at the 1987 Brit Awards.
The first record I ever heard on CD.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
I went to Sam Ash Music to buy some drum gear, and the guy goes, "Come here, check the drums out on Money for Nothing in the booth." I was blown away.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, boom, that was great.
Yep.
Great drummer. Yeah.
On this day in 1988, Bruce Springsteen's, during Bruce Springsteen's stay in Rome during a world tour, a photographer took a shot of Bruce in his underpants, sharing an intimate moment with his backing singer, Patti Scialfa. The picture confirmed the rumors that Bruce and Patti were having an affair. He was better off with her.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Much better off with a local girl. Nice. And
Yep.
she always stayed cool, man. That's the thing
Yep.
about her.
Yeah.
She could have been her own celebrity. She had all the opportunity to kind of be her own brand. She just stayed a Jersey girl, just stayed cool.
Yep.
And why not? There's a fucking lot of money there.
Yeah, he had no business marrying some Hollywood actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
I got some dirt here. My one of my sisters actually cleaned his house for a while when we lived in Monmouth County, and said he had a habit of not flushing his toilet. All right, Bruce,
There you
He
go.
leaves some big bosses in the toilet there. You know, you have to flush it. All right, Bruce. You're human like the rest of us.
What do you want from a Jersey guy? Do any of them flush the toilet?
That was disgusting.
He's forgetful.
Man.
He's got things on his mind. You can't be bothered with that shit.
Hey, baby, I just got done taking a dookie. Can you flush it for me?
I got the song called Born to Flush.
And she'd say, go fucking flush it yourself. How come you don't flush it? My mom flushed it for me. Why can't you flush it for me?
I got a song called
I'm
Tunnel to
working on
Dump.
a song over here. I don't got time for that shit.
Yeah.
I gotta drop some kids off at the pool. Oh.
It's not my job to flush the toilet. Ma flushed it. You flush it. Do your
I'm the
job,
boss.
Patty. Do your
I'm
job.
the boss. I don't flush.
You had one job. Flush my toilet.
The Tidy Bowl Man does.
Now I got fucking Lou's sister has to come in and flush the toilet, Ma. What are you doing?
I'm going to have to tell her this when I talk to her. I'm gonna tell her, I mentioned you today.
Yeah, in a very unique way.
Oh, yeah.
On this day in 1989, Nirvana's debut album, Bleach, hard album to find, was released in the U.S. The title for the album came from a poster, Bleach Your Works, urging drug users to bleach their needles. Kurt Cobain claimed that most of the lyrics on the album were written the night before recording while he was feeling pissed off, and that he did not regard them highly. Well, it wasn't really a big selling album.
No.
So that probably, it's only became popular after they became popular. And then
Dave
when
Grohl-
all those record collectors figured out, oh shit, there's not that many copies of it, then it became more popular.
And Dave Grohl is not the drummer on that.
No, he's not. He came in right at the right time.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Shows you what I know. I thought Nevermind was their debut album.
Nah, Bleach.
And that the baby kid chasing the dollar bill through the swimming pool.
That piece
The
of
lawsuit.
shit.
Yeah, really.
That
Screw
fucking
you.
kid.
Screw you.
Everybody said that. What an idiot.
It got thrown out, I think. Right?
Yeah, it did. Fucking money
Hey, just to
chaser.
tell you how much Tom knows, I took him to a hockey game, and after the third period, he went, "When's the fourth quarter?" And we're all leaving.
Oh,
That's what I said.
oh.
Yeah, I said, "Where's everybody going?" Game's over. I'm like, whatever.
What's the score of the baseball game, Tom?
It's a blowout. It's 10-1 Milwaukee. Say it's a good thing I missed it.
Your fucking Mets, Tom, they're doing great.
Yeah.
See, it's
I'm a
on
Red
my
Sox
TV.
fan.
That's why they're losing. They're running away with the season. I watch one game and they shit the bed.
There
Typical
you go.
shit.
Kind of like Amber Heard.
And they keep putting this bitch on TV. Who gives a shit? Right?
Our long national nightmare is over. The trial's over.
I loved it.
my God.
I'm retired. I watched that every day for 6 fucking weeks.
Did you really?
I did. I
picture you
just
yelling at the
hanging out
TV.
doing my
She's
shit around the
lying.
house. It's on every fucking TV. I loved it. On this day in 1996, it was a sad day. U.S. jazz singer. Why don't they just call her a jazz singer? Ella Fitzgerald died in Beverly Hills, California, at the age of 79. Already blinded by the effects of diabetes, Fitzgerald had both her legs amputated in 1993. She won 13 Grammys. Huh. Yeah. Let's see. There's always one of these references. On this day in 2002, a rare autographed copy of the Beatles album. See, album covers, right? There you go. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band sold at auction for $57,800, more than 5 times the estimated price. And you know where that fucking album cover ended up? At the same place Kurt Cobain's fucking guitar ended up. On the wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
On this day in 2003, Radiohead scored their 4th UK #1 with their 6th studio album. Lou?
I don't know.
All right.
All right.
Hail to the Chief. Not one of
Yes.
their more popular.
Never would have guessed it.
Mark was right on the cusp.
Yeah.
All right.
The title "Hail to the Thief," a phrase, and that's the name of the album was "Hail to the Thief," and I could go on about that, but it doesn't really matter. It's political, and we don't talk politics. On this day in 2005, Coldplay. Is there a more overrated fucking band than Coldplay?
I'm not a
there
fan.
really?
I'm not a fan.
I mean, fucking, I liked them better the first time when they were U2.
Yeah.
Just think about it, and that's the thing. This fucking guy doesn't catch any heat for sounding just like Bono, right? Catches nothing because he's married to Holly. He married a Hollywood star. But fucking poor Scott Weiland gets fucking rake through the coals because, you're just an Eddie Vedder sound-alike. Like,
Yeah.
remember when all that came out, they were like, they sound like Pearl Jam. I'm like, this guy's a fucking better frontman than Eddie Vedder ever was. Scott Weiland was unbelievable.
He was. Yeah.
I mean, live in concert, if you ever saw them live, the dude was he owned that stage.
The record company wanted him to sound like Pearl Jam. That's why that first album sounded like Pearl Jam. It wasn't their fault. They were just told to be like that.
Fucking Coldplay, though. They get a pass. They get a fucking pass.
I feel sorry for the guitar player in Coldplay in a way because they put out these pop albums. They're on stage. He's strumming. You don't hear the guitar. The poor guy. He's got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Well, it all sounds like dance music now to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did me and Jack? I think we talked about it. Name the bass player in Coldplay. It could be anybody. It's
or the drummer.
Yeah. It's like whoever. And there's a lot of bands. That's actually a good talking point for a show. Let's see. On this day in 2008, what's that?
By the way, the bass player for Peter Frampton is John Regan.
There you go. Way to come back an hour later.
I had to think about it. I'm playing Lou now. An hour later. Oh, John Regan. John Regan.
You pulled it off, Tom. You pulled it off. On this day in 2008, Liverpool was voted England's most musical city in a national. Who gives a fuck? On this day in 2010, Elton John, a case against a man accused of threatening Elton John's life was withdrawn. Who cares about that? On this day in 2011, 2 men from Manchester were held on suspicion of conspiracy to rob and murder after being arrested close to the Devon home of the singer Joss Stone.
Wow.
What happened to her?
Yeah. Her name popped up recently somewhere. She's doing, so they did a double bill, some kind of like a rock and
She was
soul
kind of on.
style.
She was kind of on the rise, and then all of a sudden, just kind of leveled off.
And she was young when she first came on. She was pretty young, like maybe a teenager actually.
She kind of went into traditional soul. She didn't follow the pop route.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to push her to be more of a pop singer. I heard one of her albums after she was not so popular, and it was a great album. But yeah, she stayed true to her roots.
Yeah. Sometimes there's no bouncing back, like Peter Frampton.
Yeah, really.
On this day in 2013,
I'm in you.
Sergeant Pepper's. On this day in 2013, a sad day. A 24-year-old woman died in a hospital after falling at a Stone Roses concert in Glasgow. The woman was among 50,000 fans who attended a gig at Glasgow Green to hear the Manchester indie band. I'll tell you what, man. Stone Roses. I don't know if you're into them, but what a fucking great band they were. Their whole story, they just got fucked up by the record company, and they just they imploded. Yeah. They imploded. But that drummer, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Dude is like the fucking Jimi Hendrix of drums. Dude's unbelievable. Yeah.
My son-in-law comes from England. He grew up in England, and he got me into Stone Roses. He came over with a pile of records, and you got to listen to this. You got to listen. Stone Roses was there, and they're fucking phenomenal.
Just listen to Fool's Gold. Listen to the drumming on Fool's Gold. Okay. This dude is fucking. Watch the video. The dude is fucking unbelievable. The guitar player too. He was kind of a trendsetter in how he used his reverb and how he played his guitar also. Let me see. What does it say? Oh, somebody's Richie Rock, I call him. He decides to say during my segment, replying to on this day in 2022, your beauty was realized. Get off my show, Richie Rock. All right, let's see. On this day in 2016, Brian May of Queen posted a note on his website. Fuck him. On this day in 2016, Led Zeppelin's guitarist Jimmy Page denied stealing the riff to Stairway to Heaven. Jack says he didn't. That's a fucking ripoff. I don't.
Where did he steal it from?
When he took the stand, it was against Taurus, the guitar line from Taurus, 1968 track by the band Spirit.
Love. I thought it was Love. Love.
Wait.
I thought it was.
No, it says the band was accused of lifting the opening guitar line from Taurus, a 1968 track by the band Spirit. Page testified he never heard the song until people started posting comparisons. That's bullshit.
Well,
like George Harrison, My Sweet Lord.
Yeah.
Really?
And
Are you guys familiar with, are you familiar with Spirit at all?
I'm not.
They had two big hit singles, Nature's Way and I Got a Line on You. And I Got a Line on
Oh,
You.
yeah. That's right.
They were a very influential band, but they never hit. They were just too weird. But everyone in that band went on to something else. Mark Andes went on to play in Firefall and Heart. Jay Ferguson was the keyboard player in Thunder Island. The drummer was he was 20 years old then. He was the stepfather of the singer. And that guy, he drowned saving his son off the coast of Molokai. Randy California. But they were, the something, Mr. Sardonicus, the 12th hour of Mr. Sardonicus. It's a hugely influential record. Check it out. It's worth a listen.
Check it out. Check out the fucking brain on Lou.
Apparently, the reason I knew
Jesus
them,
Christ, Lou.
somebody told me I look like the drummer. So I had a picture. Someone goes, "You look like Ed Cassidy."
I don't care what you look like. Keep talking. This is the shit I love.
All right. No, they were cool.
Fucking break it down, buddy.
Silver,
break it down.
silver tongue bastard.
When I read about Randy California, I mean, he's like 45. His son got caught in a riptide, and he drowned off Molokai. On my first honeymoon, I was in Maui, and I saved the kid from drowning. I swam out there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it back in. It was terrifying. It was like being in a giant washing machine. It was just like, and I made it back in, and I'm like, my wife's like, that's great.
I got caught in one of those fucking currents in San Diego.
Undertow or riptide or something. Oh.
It was I got caught in a current out in San Diego. I was on a boogie board with no flippers. That's why these kids wear fins. They wear those flippers. Fucking someone had to come. That was scary fucking, some scary shit there.
Oh yeah, I got caught.
And I ain't a great swimmer.
Well, apparently, if it ever happens again, the thing is,
go with it.
Well, yeah, no, go sideways. Go.
This fucking thing was taking me out to sea.
Yeah,
I might as well finish the story. It's fucking. And listen, I'm not a good swimmer. I'm like fucking. I'm like a waterlogged fucking piece of wood. I kind of float in the middle. I don't really go to the top, but I don't sink down. So that I was all kind of fucked up. So this kid comes by and I'm like, yo, and he starts pulling me in, and all of a sudden he bails on me, like he just takes off. And I just get off the board. I'm like on my tippy toes, and I turn around, and this fucking wave, it had to be 7 feet fucking tall off the water, and it was breaking right on me. It fucked me up. That shit rolled me all the way into the shore. Fucking, I had sand up my nose, in my ear, up my ass.
In your dick hole.
I'm telling you, I had fucking sand it, and I was just fucking like, what the fuck just happened? That was insane. It fucked me up. Never did it again. Done.
When I was 15, I won a East Coast Jerry Lewis muscular dystrophy swimathon. I got a Jerry Lewis watch and everything, and I'm like, I can swim anywhere. And I got caught one time. It was like having a noose around my ankle. It pulled me out. And luckily, I found bottom because I was totally disoriented. I found the bottom that go up. But if it happens, the thing is a simple solution. Swim out of it. It's a channel. And if you don't fight it, it's not going to take you out forever. It'll stop at some point.
Yeah, that means you have to fucking get your shit together. Right?
Yeah. Your mind's
That means you have to really start thinking, instead of thinking, I'm going to fucking die here. I'm fucking going to die.
I got this.
I'm supposed to say, slow down and just go with it.
Go with it. Roll with it.
Go sideways. Yeah, nah, fuck that. I'm panicking.
When the shark comes, if you punch the shark in the nose, it will go away.
Fucking kill me before I drown, please. Fucking just kill me.
Right.
I'd rather bleed out than fucking be found floating like a piece of fucking waterlogged wood.
Hey, Mark. One time, Perry, our friend Tom Griffin and I were in Florida. We were recording in the Miami in August. That's messed up. That's hot. We tried camping in the Keys in August. That's insane. Jim and I are swimming, and Tom really can't swim, and he was being a pain in the ass. I saw he got caught in one of those. I knew I could grab him, but I just let him. I watched the look of terror as he floated past me, and I grabbed him at the last minute. I grabbed his arm at the last minute. I'm like, "You're okay," but that look on his face was like it was like death. You know,
I could just see the face.
He deserved it.
All right, what do we got? Born on this day, Waylon Jennings.
Wow,
1937.
And the boys.
Yeah.
Could have gone down with Buddy. Yeah,
he had a big career. Like he was pretty. That was an influential dude right there.
You know, he said to Buddy Holly before the plane crash.
Yep, it was Buddy Holly. Yeah. Born on this day in 1941, Harry Nilsson.
Oh wow.
Is that the dude with the fucking apartment of death?
Yeah.
Didn't Mama Cass die in his apartment?
Mhm.
Really?
And then who else died in his? Somebody else died in his apartment. Yeah, another musician.
Very
Great singer.
dark career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chronic stage fright too, apparently.
Yeah.
It's like the lead singer of XTC.
Yeah.
Andy Partridge.
Andy Partridge.
Dude,
Yep.
fucking, they never went on tour. Like he, at least earlier in their career, he was like, no thanks.
They did
That
like Letterman with
song,
this.
Making Plans for Nigel, was such an influential song to me. I heard that on the radio and I was like, it was at like 78, 79, 79,
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
80, probably in there. So I think more like
No later
that
than
song
that, I would
absolutely turned me. That was like the beginning of like alternative, like new wave, they
think.
called it back
New
then.
wave. Yeah.
But that song is, I mean, that just changed how that and watching The Detectives, Elvis Costello.
What about Cars by Gary Newman?
You know what? Yeah, that came a little later. That came around 80, I think, but it was in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a different sounding album. Gary Newman, there's a great documentary about him and how he made his last album. But those two songs, and I should say Lena Lovitch also.
My lucky numbers too.
Yeah. And New Drug, whatever it is. Anyways.
That's a great time. That's a great era, that time of music. Great.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else was born on this day? Ice Cube. My man, Ice Cube.
All right.
Hey, listen. Talk about coming from nothing. And fucking absolutely broadening your horizons to the point where I will put Friday, next Friday, and the Friday after next as three of the fucking greatest comedies ever made.
Absolutely.
Fucking 2 is as funny as 1.
Yeah.
And 3 is as funny as 2. Fucking
And-
those 3 movies.
And he
Classics.
goes on to be in a Disney movie. How the
Dude.
fuck did he do that?
You know what? Smart. He left
Yeah.
NWA at the right time.
hmm
Smart
Yeah.
businessman for a kid that had no real education
Right.
other than the streets. That dude, and, Jay-Z, the same thing. A lot of these guys, that's a whole nother show too. Except I can't do it with Jack because he's not really a hip hop guy. I don't know how many of you guys. Any of you listen to hip hop?
Much
Not
to
particularly.
much to Tom's chagrin, I do listen to old school hip hop. He's
There you
kind of
go.
gotten on my case about it.
Is there
NWA?
any other kind?
NWA, that album is like it's like the equivalent of a Black Sabbath album. It hits you in the head, hits you in the
Yeah.
face. It's a great album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see. And without any further, that's it. That's the show, guys. I have
All right.
nothing. I have nothing. We hit
Oh, man.
an hour and 47 minutes. This might be the longest show.
Oh shit.
And Mark, I think you held back a little bit. I think you are holding back a little bit. I think you have more to say. I think you're just being conservative on the first time. So next time you guys come on, be loaded up, Mark. Be loaded up, buddy.
I was about to say he needs another glass of wine, and then he's not going to
Break out the Tito's.
I was going to say no Tito's tonight, Mark. No Tito's?
Nah, I'm really Chardonnay guy. That's my drink, Chardonnay.
All right.
And Pinky Extended, whatever I get.
There you go.
You
So,
made me
like I
proud,
said at the beginning of the show, Mark and Lou and Perry Dedovich have a podcast called Music Relish. Now, don't mind the quality of it. They are upgrading their sound. Peer pressure finally got to them from Tom, right? Tom kept hounding them and hounding them.
There's some internal pressure there too, by the way.
There's some internal pressure. Yeah. Lou, I think Lou was ready to hang up the phone.
I cut the cord.
Every
the
fucking
content-
Monday morning, Tom texted me, "What the fuck, guys? Get it?
What the fuck?
I agree.
And I like the episode, and Tom was the one that turned me on. We're at the end. There's dead silence. And someone says, Is anybody still on?
That was me. I couldn't turn my
It was like
phone
a
wouldn't
minute and
turn
a
off.
half, though.
Scott, I kept hitting the thing. Stop. And then I went to my electronic drum kit. I got the cartoon setting on. So if you listen further, you hear boing and dogs barking. I'm like, That's
Yeah.
bad.
So,
All right.
they're definitely doing an upgrade, but the content is very interesting. They have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot to offer. So go check out Music Relish. Just don't mind the audio. But again, if you stick with it, you'll find they're upgrading this shit. Guys, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
I
Thanks
truly
for having us,
appreciate it.
Scott.
Hey, you will be back on. There's no doubt about it. You guys are definitely going to be back on.
Love to.
And Tom, as usual, thanks for sitting in, taking the
My
Ed
pleasure.
McMahon chair.
Pleasure. Hi-yo.
Tom,
There you go.
It's nice to meet you finally, too, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice to meet
it's
you too, Lou.
technology.
I need to check out Tom's podcast too. Going Postal.
Oh, that's right. And Tom's podcast, Going Postal.
Going post.
Check it
New
out.
episode
Very
tomorrow
interesting
or
stories.
Friday. Yeah.
And I just released my second podcast called His 10, Her 10. It's a top 10 list podcast with a girl I grew up with from East Boston, good Italian girl who is as cynical and sharp as a tack and dark humor. She just, with that Italian girl accent, just like a Jersey girl or a New York girl, a Boston girl. Check it out. His 10, Her 10.
Okay.
We just do top 10. Like she has her top 10 list. I do like the first episode is top 10 favorite movies. Then we kind of talk about it. But episode 4 goes a little sideways. I have those in the can ready to go. So
I'll check it out.
yeah. Richie Rock, thanks for watching. He stuck out the whole hour and 50 minutes. You're a madman. That's a fan. He's now dedicated. He's a super fan now. Richie Rock is a super fan.
Super fan. He's super fanning out.
And like I always say to you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You are the engine that runs this machine. Without you, I would be talking to these 3 guys from the Northeast, not the right part of the Northeast, but they're from the Northeast nonetheless. And well, it's all good. It's all good. Let's just push that aside. And to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, doing the show for you guys, the pleasure, the privilege is mine. I'll see you next week. Jack will be back next week. But these gentlemen will for sure be back. There's no doubt about it. And their microphones will be fucking top notch.
Absolutely.
They're going to be technologically sound. Don't make me come over there, guys. Don't make me come over there.
We're working on it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Guys, stay on.